Hey friends, welcome to Abundant Source. This video is just going to be a video that I did of myself doing some free stretching and some free movement, just kind of whatever my body wants. And yeah, just kind of showing you what I like to tend to do before bed. Not all the time before bed, but a lot of the time before I go to sleep. I just like to stretch in as many ways as possible. I like to really sort of push myself in a way to go really deep into certain stretches, just because I feel like when I'm stretching, I'm just really discovering new parts of myself, deeper parts of myself and my body and how it works and what needs work. And it feels really good to get to know myself better in that way. And some of the stretches here are somewhat deep, and I am a fairly flexible person. And I attribute most or quite a lot of my flexibility in being able to get in certain postures or stretches. I attribute that to my diet, which is that of a fruitarian diet. Very, very high in fruit. I pretty much only eat fruit other than like juicing some greens or eating some herbs like parsley and cilantro. And also like some nuts and seeds every once in a while. But yeah, diet is huge. I feel like diet has helped me to go deeper with my stretches, more so than even like daily stretching or pushing myself to stretch more, because when I used to eat, say, like a standard American diet, it was so painful for me to stretch. There was so much inflammation, there was so much tension, and all these other things, very painful to stretch. There was not much fluidity. There was a lot of calcification in the bones and the joints, and just very difficult. Even though I stretched a lot every day, it felt like I didn't make a whole lot of progress. And then after going fruitarian for a long time, and even in periods where I just like never stretched, I found it very easy to get into certain stretches that I had never done before, just because my body was so fluid, my body was so intrinsically hydrated, with less inflammation, that I was just easily able to do things that I could never do before, even when practicing daily. So that's something that I really believe is very important if you want to go deeper into stretching, if you want to build strength with the proper foundation, and having like a clean slate to work with, instead of trying to build your temple on a foundation of toxicity and calcification, and emotional blockages. And so that's something else that I want to go into, is the emotional aspect of all of this. And I have done a lot of emotional work on myself, a lot of tearing down belief systems, and that sort of thing, probably more so than anybody else that I personally know. And all emotional blockage, all basically emotions that we're attached to or that we are resistant to, are going to manifest themselves in some way in our body. So what that means is that if you've got emotional issues, then it's going to be very hard to stretch certain parts of your body, because everything emotional and all belief systems are going to show up as some sort of blockage or something inside your physical body somewhere. So if you've got strain in your shoulders, or your legs, or your hips are misaligned, or anything like that, you've got neck issues, then you can be sure that there is emotional imbalance that has to do with that. And so the more you're able to work with your emotions and your belief systems and let go of those, then the deeper and easier it's going to be for you to get into different postures and stretches. And you can also sort of reverse that, and you can work on emotional issues by doing deep stretching. So stretching into things that are painful, into things that are hard, and remaining there and just observing the pain, observing the discomfort, and not reacting to anything, because that is really the big thing here, is what we're reacting to, what we're resistant to. Those are really what's kind of like blocking us from our flow and from moving forward and from being able to do what we want and manifest the things that we want, is that we have resistances and we react to too many things. And so when you're able to get in certain stretches, and even though it's painful and uncomfortable, if you're able to sit in it without reacting, without resistance to it, and just observing it and saying, yes, this is pain manifesting, and I'm just going to sit with it and see how long it lasts and see what it's like to just be in this and to really just feel it out, then that's when a lot of emotional healing occurs. So you are able to work with your emotions and release different emotions and belief systems by stretching and by doing yoga and all these different ways that push your body. It kind of like squeezes the emotions out as well, so you can sort of go about it in both ways. The physical body and the mental mind are completely interconnected, and whatever manifests in one is going to manifest in some way in the other. So I do a lot of a technique called emotion code. I meditate for a minimum of 2 hours every day, which is very helpful for balancing my emotions and keeping me non-resistant, non-attached. And then I also do yoga. Just recently cultivated a yoga practice, a daily yoga practice, which has been very helpful for me in discovering new stretches and pushing myself. But yoga has not been something very prevalent in my life until recently. I've only done yoga a few times in my life until recently, just in random times. Maybe like a friend is doing yoga and then I do it with them or something a few times, but other than that, I just do a lot of my own free stretching and free movement and ecstatic dance and all these different ways to move my body and really just get to know my body, because first of all, it just feels really good to be able to do that. It feels really good to have good posture, to be in alignment physically in my temple. And it's also just the whole emotional thing, letting go of beliefs and all that. Everything metaphysical has to do with everything physical. The physical, everything we see around us is basically just the metaphysical source playing around, and it's all connected. So everything that is physical has some metaphysical aspect or attribute. There's never anything physical that does not have to do with metaphysics. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk with you in the next video. Bye.